Seth Rollins' shocking knee injury, once believed to be the emotional gut punch that derailed SummerSlam 2025, now appears to be something far more sinister, far more layered, and infinitely more calculated. What was sold to millions as a heartbreaking physical collapse may, in fact, have been a masterclass in deception, a work of psychological warfare crafted not by accident, but by the chilling intellect of WWE's most dangerous manipulator, Paul Heyman. From the moment Rollins hit the mat that fateful Saturday night, clutching his knee and writhing in visible agony, the WWE Universe was thrown into chaos. The commentary team dropped their usual bravado, their voices laced with concern. The arena fell into stunned silence. EMTs appeared on cue. The camera angles shifted into shaky handheld close-ups designed to simulate raw panic. And just like that, the stage was set. Social media ignited within seconds, fans weeping, speculating, mourning. Within minutes, tributes flooded in, merchandise sales for "Get Well Soon," "Visionary," shirts soared, and hashtags like #Pray for Seth trended worldwide. But if you stopped and looked just beneath the surface, there were cracks in the illusion, cracks Paul Heyman left just wide enough for the most observant to find. WWE's medical team, typically swift and transparent in addressing superstar injuries, went dark. No diagnosis, no timeline, no footage of hospital staff. Not even the usual grainy Instagram story from a locker room assistant. Instead, a single, carefully worded tweet appeared from WWE's official account: Seth Rollins has suffered an apparent knee injury. Further evaluation pending. And with that, the bait had been cast. What few realized was that this vagueness wasn't uncertainty, it was design. This was not a moment of calamity but the opening act of a high-stakes con. Because behind the curtain, Paul Heyman was not grieving, he was preparing. According to multiple anonymous sources within WWE's production team, Rollins was seen walking without a limp backstage shortly after his match. No brace, no discomfort, he was even overheard joking with crew members at catering. One crew member recalled seeing him standing perfectly upright while sipping coffee just an hour after the match that supposedly ended his summer. Another staffer noticed something strange during the stretcher segment aired on live television. Rollins seemed to adjust which knee he was clutching mid-segment, a blink and you miss it switch that only added fuel to the growing suspicion. It was all theater, painstakingly rehearsed theater. Several production insiders have confirmed that the segment was prepped in advance during a closed-door rehearsal overseen by Heyman himself. Only a select few were allowed in the room. Even referees involved in the match were allegedly told to react as though it was a legitimate emergency, with timing cues fed through earpieces to create the illusion of panic. What followed in the days after was pure Heyman brilliance: nothing. Silence. No social media appearance from Rollins. No press conference from WWE. No medical update from trainers. It was a dead zone of information, a vacuum. And that vacuum, as Heyman well knows, breeds speculation. It breeds emotion, and it turns false idols into fallen angels. As Rollins' absence grew longer, the fans didn't drift away, they leaned in closer. They posted fan art, created video tributes, started countdowns to a recovery they believed was real. But what they were truly doing was falling deeper into Heyman's web. This wasn't just about Rollins taking time off. This was about manipulating the entire emotional ecosystem of WWE. With Roman Reigns absent and the bloodline fractured, Heyman saw the throne was vulnerable. Solo Sikoa had begun his rise as the new Dark Prince of SmackDown, carving a path of dominance through a weakened roster. But Heyman wasn't interested in crowning Sikoa. He was interested in dethroning the system. In rewriting what it means to return, to resurrect, to control a narrative not just through performance, but through silence, mystery, and myth. The plan: to bring Rollins back not as a wounded warrior, but as a messianic figure, an unannounced savior, erupting into the SummerSlam spotlight at the exact moment the fans least expected him. Insiders have already noted signs. WWE's internal SummerSlam documentation recently removed the "subject to change" tag next to Rollins' name. A mysterious file labeled S. Ahmed Shorat was flagged confidential and uploaded to the pyrotechnician team's database, believed to be a disguised cue sheet for Rollins' return. Sound engineers were heard tweaking "burn it down" to a modified mid-show activation, and Rollins' entrance lighting was rehearsed behind locked doors. One production hand even claimed Heyman has demanded a complete lockdown for any rehearsal involving Rollins, including confiscated phones, facial recognition secured dressing rooms, and anonymous vehicle arrivals through private arena tunnels. WWE is building not just a moment, they're building a secret. And that secret is designed to detonate when it hurts the most. Rollins himself has played the part masterfully. He's avoided interviews. He's posted hauntingly cryptic images, smoke-filled silhouettes, ashes, broken mirrors, captions like, "The calm never lies," and, "Redemption begins in silence." No mentions of his knee. No sympathy posts. Just artistic vagueness, a psychological game of hide and seek where every fan is unknowingly being drawn toward a cliff edge. Even Becky Lynch, Rollins' wife, contributed to the misdirection, posting a heartfelt tweet laced with emojis and messages of strength, tears, and heartbreak. But those close to the couple suggest it was all part of the plan. Perception is power, Heyman once told Roman Reigns. And now he's teaching that same doctrine to Rollins. Why go to such extreme lengths? Because this isn't just about stealing a show, it's about seizing control of an empire. WWE has always been about power, but rarely has the power come from silence. Rarely has an entire storyline been built from shadows. Heyman has constructed an emotional Trojan horse, and at SummerSlam 2025, he plans to wheel it directly into WWE's citadel. As Sikoa stands tall in what he believes is a final coronation, the arena will darken. The music will hit, and out from that blackness will come the man fans thought was broken, the man they wept for, walking tall, uninjured, reborn. In that moment, the audience will erupt, not just from surprise, but from disbelief that they allowed themselves to be so thoroughly deceived. And that, Heyman believes, is the ultimate pop, not from hype, but from betrayal. If the plan succeeds, it could go down as one of the most intricate angles in WWE history, an injury so convincing it hijacked the emotions of a global fanbase and turned sympathy into story-driven fuel. If it fails, it could backfire catastrophically. Faking injuries is taboo, especially in an era where real-life injuries have ended beloved careers. If fans feel manipulated instead of moved, the backlash could be nuclear. But Heyman, ever the gambler, is betting everything on the reaction. He wants gasps. He wants cheers and boos at the same time. He wants to weaponize emotional whiplash, to turn betrayal into brilliance, illusion into legacy. And the stakes go far beyond SummerSlam. If Rollins returns as planned and receives the reaction Heyman envisions, the entire creative direction of WWE could pivot overnight. Rollins wouldn't just be back, he'd be elevated into something new, something rare, a living paradox. A man who broke fans' hearts just to heal them. A false prophet who convinced the world he was fallen, only to rise and declare himself not a victim, but a visionary God reborn. And with Heyman as his high priest, they wouldn't just rewrite storylines, they'd rewrite the rules of engagement. Behind the curtain, plans are being finalized. Costumes prepped, security doubled, scripts shredded and reprinted, wrestlers briefed on last-minute changes. Pyro retimed, and somewhere, behind a locked door, Seth Rollins is preparing to burn it all down, not with fire, but with belief. With trust. With the emotions of every fan who ever chanted his name. The line between fiction and reality in WWE has never been this blurred, this dangerous, this alive. And when it all explodes in front of millions, it won't be just a return. It will be a revelation. A masterstroke of deceit that redefined an entire era of wrestling storytelling and proved that the loudest moment in WWE history was born not from pain, but from a lie.